Well, good morning, everybody. This is Heidi. Just wanted to welcome you again to this morning's SSIS Coffee Talk, statewide release, version 25.4. We have a full morning for you. So I think that we will just along through our PowerPoint. First off, we have our agenda. We'll go through our welcome and introductions, do some housekeeping and a tennyson warning, provide you with some announcements, share the release information, go through SSIS resources, and then we will have our closing announcements. Okay, for housekeeping, attendees have been muted upon entry. To speak, please raise your hand using the reaction emoji at the bottom of the screen, and you will be unmuted by one of us here at SSIS. Questions can also be submitted using the chat feature. One of us will be monitoring that in case you do have questions that we can address. Closed captioning can be enabled using the CC button located on the bottom left of the screen. And lastly, the session is being recorded and will be posted on the Minnesota Child Welfare Training Academy website in 7 to 10 working days. So next up, we have the tennyson warning. If you could all please take just a few minutes to read through that. It just shares how we collect information and such, but give it a minute here, read through it from beginning to end, and then we'll pick off and continue our presentation. Okay, so I think that's probably enough time. Next off, we're going to kick it over to Cassie. We'd like to thank the pilot agencies. And so, Cassie, are you with us?
Thanks, Heidi. Good morning, everybody. We wanted to give a really awesome shout out to our pilot agencies this time around. We worked with Cass, Clay, and Itasca counties. We can't say enough great things about you guys and how much work you put in, and we really appreciate it. So from the SSIS business section and all of our partners in Minute, we really appreciate you guys and your willingness to help out. If your agency is interested in piloting or interested in getting more information about the process of piloting, please reach out to me. My email is on that or on the slide in front of you, or you can email the help desk. Thanks, everyone.
All right, I guess I'm up again. So now we would like to share with you the mentor of the month, and that is Bonnie Parker from Mille Lacs County. Bonnie was nominated by her colleague Dar Gould, and what Dar had to share is as follows. Over the last year, Bonnie has taken on additional duties and cases that used to be handled by our child protection workers. She was given a difficult population to work with. Bonnie delved right into it, researching where needed to ensure accuracy and timeliness. She was great at incorporating these new tasks into her current duties. Bonnie is awesome at problem solving and will not stop until she gets her answer. Mille Lacs County is lucky to have her as a part of our child protection team. So anyway, congrats, Bonnie. Thank you for all you do, and thank you for the nomination by Dar Gould. And if you have somebody in your agency who you would like to nominate as Mentor of the Month, please feel free to send me an email, and I will put my email address in the chat. And I think we'll go to the next slide. And next we have the time entry transformation statewide rollout, and we have Sam here to share updates on that project.
Yeah, thank you, Heidi. Hi, everyone. This is Sam Breidenbach, Product Manager for Time Transformation at DCYF with the Strategy and Technology Office. And we wanted to let you all know that everyone who is a current SSIS user now has access to this new website that can be accessed on any browser with any agency-issued device, including mobile phones, at the URL time.ssis.gov. partner.mn.gov. This website is connected with your existing SSIS user ID at partner.mn.gov and your SSIS password that is started the morning of 11/12 with our statewide rollout. The statewide release was able to go forward after we conducted 3 successful rounds with pilot agencies. Special thanks to Anoka, Brown, Chippewa, Freeborn, Goodhue, Hubbard, Candy-Ojai, LeSueur, Meeker, Nicollet, Olmsted, Ramsey, Scott, and Stearns counties for all your help with this product and getting it off the ground, now running in production for users statewide. For anyone who hasn't been involved heavily in this project so far, this is a new website utilizing the existing SSIS database that provides mobile access via a website URL that allows workers to submit time records with case notes to SSIS, allowing all the downstream reimbursement processes and reporting to occur as it does today. So it basically allows an additional way as another tool for workers to use to have the ability to submit their time records more quickly from wherever they are, including out in the field, like parked outside a client's home, at a hospital, or a school. We also kicked off UAT, or user acceptance testing, for the activity log with the second iteration of the web app that is currently in testing with 17 county workers. The product team is working on defects and enhancements that are being reported by both groups and hoping to release the activity log functionality statewide in early December, if all goes well. We are also working on adding the ability to view a submitted time record on a read-only form, functionality to create draft versions of records in the web app before they are submitted to SSIS, and auto-saving capability that will go hand in hand with drafts so we can continuously save these in the web app and prevent the loss of work while caseworkers are out in the field. We included some brief instructions on the screen here, and we are also sending out a push notification in the SSIS application to alert users that they now have access to this website where they can enter their time records and case notes. That notification will be sent in the SSIS application to all users today. The website again is time.ssis.mn.gov, and on the first screen, users will enter their existing SSIS user ID at partner.mn.gov. Then the second screen will request a password to be entered, and this is the same password that SSIS users use to log in to the main SSIS Worker Fiscal Production application through the Windows app today. The third step is to select your database, and again, this is the same as it is in SSIS, where if you work for Sherburne County, you would select Sherburne from the database dropdown, and this is connecting the user to the exact same database that SSIS is using. So it writes the data to the same place while providing an additional vehicle through the website to get the entry itself added. And we can move to the next slide where I'll share some resources with you all. We wanted to share some resources available that are specific to this product. So we have a resource for a new training video that is cross-posted on both our Engagement HQ page and the Partner Link SSIS resource homepage, as well as job aids posted here and the worker documentation page to make sure folks can access this information for wherever they are used to going. There are 3 job aids included on this slide that are specific to the web app. It includes one for access, log in, and log out, create and submit a new time record, and create a home screen icon for your phone or a desktop shortcut on your computer. And we also have a couple documents not on this slide that are posted in the section on our partner link pages specific to activities that you can take a look at. And these apply to both the web app and SSIS. Last, I wanted to mention our Engagement HQ page. That is our central hub for staying informed with this project. And you have different ways to interact with us on the product through the web page, like asking questions that are posted publicly as FAQs for all to view, the suggestion box feature where you can submit enhancements or improvement ideas for the web app that comes straight to our product team, and surveys that are posted to ask what we should prioritize for features next, how things are going using the current product, and a new one asking about your satisfaction with engagement on the project so far that will be coming soon. The final link shown here is for our Gov Delivery email blasts that are sent out to subscribers. These are communications for important information we want everyone to know, so we ask that you sign up through this link using your agency email address so you can receive the updates as we have them. And that is all from me, but I will stay on for the entire presentation today if there are any questions for our team. Thank you.
That is so exciting. Thank you so much for sharing that, Sam. Well, with that, we will get started with the presentation. We have Cassie coming on to fill us in on what's new.
Thanks again, Heidi. So we have some really great news. The autocorrect feature of your spell checker is no longer removing a letter before the apostrophe in a word when it's been spelled correctly. So we've had a few tickets at the help desk. I know that's super frustrating and annoying, but that should all be repaired after statewide release. So that's exciting for a lot of people. And yay.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Carrie Kaiser, an SSIS subject matter expert and trainer. So when working with programs and services, certain brass codes require a county subservice. When adding a new service in the biz or organization, the system displays the message, the service requires a county subservice before it can be used on service arrangements or payments. However, this message would disappear after the screen was refreshed, even if a county subservice had not yet been added. This message will now continue to display until a county subservice has been added for the service. And with that, I think I pass it on to Erica.
Thanks, Carrie. Good morning, everyone. I'm Erica Peterson, a child welfare SME with the Strategy and Technology Office. My first update for you all is that there was a previous defect that allowed users to manually delete the child maltreatment report from an assessment work group. And this resulted in the loss of the CMR and really an inability to recover it. This defect has been resolved, so the assessment CMR is no longer able to be manually deleted. We'll go to the next slide. Another update is that possible injury was removed from the severity dropdown. Possible injury is not identified as a severity definition in the Family Assessment, Family Investigation Best Practice Guide. And so this has been this option to select possible injury from the severity in the child maltreatment report has been inactivated so they can better align. You will no longer see possible injury as an option in the drop-down list when selecting a severity for maltreatment determinations. Next slide. There's a new state document. I know that many agencies have their own forms that they send to mandated reporters outlining screening decisions for child protection intakes. There is now a new state document available for child protection intakes labeled CPS Notice to Reporter. This document does allow local agencies to change that RTF header. Next slide. Some more fixes. The hyperlink has been fixed. The hyperlink labeled child maltreatment report is in the setup tab for both the CPS notice of determination and the CPS summary disposition notice. And this hyperlink has been fixed, so it will now correctly navigate to the assessment child maltreatment report. Next slide. Some changes to child foster care notice to relatives. The document relative notice of foster care placement is now inactive and has been replaced with the document child foster care notice to relatives. The new document does not allow the use of a local agency RTF header, and the document is located in chronology in the documents folder. Next slide. The QRTP assessment referral form has also been updated to include the child's Swindex ID and information from the juvenile treatment screening team form. And I think that is it for right now. We'll stop for questions.
I'm not seeing any questions in the chat right now. All right, Anna, looks like this is you.
Okay, thank you. All right, so my name is Anna Chalupka, SSIS training specialist with the user support team, and I will be providing an overview of the recent updates to the SSIS adult protection. So in this first slide, the option to print a blank service plan will correctly show instead of the out-of-home placement plan document. And also on this slide, it shows that the signature page option is now properly disabled. Next slide. The next slide is regarding the adult strengths and needs assessment, help text, and data cleanup. The help text and the data cleanup tools have been updated. The new help text now reads an adult strengths and needs assessment SDM tool in a status of complete is required to close the work group. And then the data cleanup text now reads a completed adult and strengths and needs assessment SDM tool is required. Next slide. The printed adult strengths and needs report has been updated to correct the labels in the needs grid column. So worker identified has now been changed to worker priority. Adult identified has been updated to adult priority, and the prioritized for service plan now reads priority for service plan. And there's a new rule that has been added, which requires the selection to be made in the worker priority field if there is a need and a selection made in prioritized for service plan if there is a worker priority. We've added a couple of documents in the external documents. So on this slide, there's a blank copy of the updated adult strengths and needs assessment, and it's now available under the SSIS tools external documents. Next slide. Also in the external document, you will find a blank copy of the APS service plan. If you have any policy-related questions, please contact the Adult Protection team. And that's their email and phone number. Any questions regarding the updates in the SSIS Adult Protection? Thank you.
Thanks, Anna. Next up, we will have Nicole present on the copy from sibling feature.
This is Erica again. I am covering for Nicole. So the copy from sibling menu item has been renamed to copy from sibling, continuous placement, and current placement. And this has been renamed to better clarify its purpose. The error message cannot copy from sibling, continuous placement, and current placement when the client has an open continuous placement will now display if this option is used for a child who already has an open continuous placement. If a child already has an open continuous placement, new placement details must be entered manually. And then a future enhancement may add a copy from sibling current placement only option. Then we'll switch over to QRTP extended placement reviews. The EPR timeline calculation in SSIS has been updated to reflect the current federal guidelines and eliminates the system requirement for subsequent EPRs. The 4 timeline scenarios below have not changed. 1 EPR is required per timeline scenario when a child is placed for the specified number of days in a certified QRTP facility. So for consecutive EPRs for children over age 13, these are due when a child is placed in the same QRTP for 360 days. For children age 12 and under, the consecutive EPR is due when a child is placed in the same QRTP for 180 days. Non-consecutive EPRs for children over age 13 must occur when a child is placed in and out of in and out of the same or different QRTP facility within the same continuous placement for a total of 540 days. For children aged 12 and under, the non-consecutive EPR is due when a child is placed in and out of the same or different QRTP facility within the same continuous placement for a total of 180 days. We'll go to the next slide. Thank you. A few changes have been made to the extended placement review screen. Informational messages have been added to the calculate review period detail button, and these messages will display to provide information if the child is not within that 30-day window before an EPR is due. Help text has also been updated on that screen, and EPR related alerts and data cleanup messages have also been updated. Lastly, an issue occurred with the extended placement review timeline calculation when there were payments made for a QRTP placement, but the only payments made for that placement did not have a 4E subcode specified. So when this happened, the time in the placement was not counted toward that EPR timeline in error. Agencies were instructed to always specify a 4E subcode on payments for QRTP placements, even if the payment would not be 4E reimbursable. This issue has now been resolved. So if none of the payments for a QRTP placement have a 4E subcode specified, the system will use all 4E subcodes available for that license, or for all licenses for the BizOrg to determine the minimum and maximum QRTP certification dates for that BizOrg. This will include the most dates possible in the EPR timeline. Reminder, always include the specific 4E subcode on payments for always including the specific subcode on payments for QRTP placements will make the EPR timeline calculation the most accurate. Any questions for me?
I'm afraid that I don't have access to the chat right now. Do we have any questions out there?
Hi, this is Renetta. I'm not seeing any questions in chat right now.
Perfect. Thanks, Renetta. Well, next up, we have Allie, who is going to talk with us about repository error number 4048.
Thanks, Heidi. Good morning, everyone. This is Allie Tesmer. I'm the subject matter expert on the SSIS Business Operations team. And this morning, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the repository error 4048. And this has been corrected so that when updating professionally determined conditions, the error now correctly appears for closed continuous placements that lasted fewer than 30 days. And just a reminder on how to fix this error. Children who are in or were in a continuous placement within the last year require an entry or an update of the screen. The screen, including the last updated date, should be updated every 12 months or whenever there's a significant change while the child is in an open continuous placement. If exam or assessment conducted but results not received is selected, this indication should be used temporarily. The screen must be updated once the exam or assessment results are received. This error will remain until the screen has been properly updated. All right, and then I also just wanted to provide an AFCARS submission update. We recently submitted our 2025B AFCARS submissions, and both our out-of-home care file and our adoption and guardianship file were compliant. So a huge thank you to all of the agencies and staff that made this possible. We appreciate the time and effort that you all put into this work. And I also just want to remind attendees that all agencies should be running their repository and following up on their errors on a monthly basis. We've been providing some one-on-one support to agencies, and we're hoping to avoid having to reach out to individual agencies that have not resolved errors on that one-on-one basis. The two items we reached out on most recently, both should be able to be caught by agencies and resolved if they're running and fixing the AFGAR's repository errors monthly. So thank you to everyone, and we're happy to announce another compliant submission. Any questions? All right, I will hand it over to Carrie.
Thank you, Allie. Hi, this is Carrie Kaiser again, and let's talk about ICD-10 diagnosis code updates. Annual maintenance work was included in the SSIS release for ICD-10 diagnosis codes to match changes made by MMIS. These changes are required by the Centers of Medicare and Medicaid Services, otherwise known as CMS. This work included 630 adds, 45 revisions, and 28 deletions or end dates that were applied as 9/30/2025. Of those, no codes have been added, revised, or ended that are mental health billable. A updated job aid for the ICD-10 mental health billable diagnosis codes has been posted, and an article will be released with this information in the next SSIS update. Motivational interviewing no longer displays as an option in the drop-down with the claim category field under healthcare claiming. Motivational interviewing should not have been displayed in the claim category, since these claims are billed through the Prevention Services State Report. Next slide, please. A correction, a problem was reported with the service arrangements related to the use of the group by box in the specialized grids. When creating new service arrangements under the person's fiscal detail folder, the menu options such as new service arrangement, send for approval, approval for payment, and others were not visible. If the group by box was used in the payment grid, error messages displayed. If the group box was used in other grids in SSIS, menu options were either not visible or an error message displayed. All of these issues have been resolved. And with that, I will pass it off to Holly.
Good morning. This is Holly Reller for SSIS Fiscal. I will start with state reports. The Seeger Revenue Table's annual maintenance was completed to support the creation and submission of 2026 state reports for Seeger reimbursement with the Financial Operations Division. This annual maintenance is required to ensure users can generate and submit reports for the upcoming calendar year, beginning with Q1 2026. There are no changes to the Seeger user interface or display as part of this update. The FMAP rates have also been updated effective October 1, 2025. The FMAP is the share of state Medicaid benefit costs paid by the federal government, and it also determines the federal share of the Title 40 foster care and adoption assistance maintenance payments. The FMAP is based on a 3-year average of state per capita personal income compared to the national average. There was a slight decrease of 0.48 for federal year 2026 in Minnesota, moving the FMAP from 51.16% to 50.68% effective October 1st. There is no change in the tribal FMAP rate, and it remains at 83%. Next slide. We had some voucher fixes going out in this release. During the SSIS review last year, many agencies brought forward an issue with voucher reports, splitting vouchers incorrectly and extra blank pages printing. The voucher by vendor and voucher by client reports under general reports now keep sections together and no longer split them across pages. And the vouchers no longer print blank pages. A defect was found in the proofing on the Prevention Services State Report for time records and payments only proofed if the wrong county subservice was selected. This has now been corrected to also include those records if the county subservice is left blank. When the subservice is left blank on a time record or a payment for prevention services, a proofing message will now display for both time records and payments. There was a change to the Child Foster Care Report proofing message 1291. This proofing message was updated to allow claiming through day 60, preventing claiming for days 61 and on, when this was increased from allowing claiming through day 14 and preventing claiming for days 15 and forward, when the court approval is missing or late. We had a number of child foster care report resolved defects. 2 child foster care report payment proofing message warnings have been fixed. Warning 1217 now correctly appears when a location or absence overlaps the start of a new placement for more than 14 days. Warning 1294 now correctly appears for payments within the first 14 days of placement, even when the payment covers fewer than 14 days. A defect in SSIS worker child counting has been fixed. When a child had multiple claims in 1 month and the earliest claim for the month had the FOIA setting type of not applicable, the child was not counted at all for that month. The claims with FOIA setting type not applicable are not considered for child counts since they are not Title 4E eligible claims. The child is now counted based on their earliest Title 4E eligible claim for the month. Payment proofing warning 1285 was not appearing when the QRTP assessment was missing the date qualified individual completed assessment. Although warning 1286 did appear, it was obscured the fact that the real issue was on the QRTP assessment screen. This defect has now been fixed, and QRTP placement payments with this issue will correctly trigger both proofing messages 1285 and 1286. Payment proofing warning 1290 was not appearing when the QRTP assessment was missing the date qualified individual completed assessment. Instead, only warning 1297 displayed, which blocked the claiming but made it unclear that the underlying issue was on the QRTP assessment screen. This defect has been fixed, and QRTP placement payments with this issue will now correctly trigger both proofing messages 1290 and 1297. Any questions for fiscal? If no, we'll move it on to Renetta.
Thanks, Holly. This is Renetta Walk. I am the curriculum developer and the special project consultant with the learning and development team. And over the next few slides, Anna and I will just briefly review some information that we collected during the L&D engagement and feedback survey. So last month during the coffee talk, we did this informal survey, and the survey results are currently under review. We haven't completed the analysis of everything. So we just kind of want to share some details of what we've found or what we've seen in the results so far. So we kept the survey open through October 31st to encourage more mentors to participate, and we are pleased to announce that we had an 83% participation rate. So that was very exciting. We had quite a few of you participate and give us your feedback. Next slide. So why did we collect this feedback from you? You know, basically just a quick recap. We wanted to focus on the training resources that we are currently providing. We wanted to learn what's working, what's not working, to identify your SSIS training needs. And we want to use this to make data-informed decisions about the frequency and the type of training resources that we offer, and of course, to incorporate your feedback as we prioritize our work and try to align our work more with the needs of our agency partners. So the survey consisted of 7 questions. The first 3 questions were based around what we are currently doing well. The questions 4 through 6 focused on what we can improve on to support your learning needs. And question 7 was open for you to share additional comments. So we are going to share the results of the raw data. And without further ado, I'll pass it over to Anna to share that information.
Thank you, Renetta. All right, so the first question we've asked about which training resources do you or your agency provide or recommend to others? And your top 3 answers, so number 1 is the SSIS update, that newsletter that we get every 2 weeks. And then number 2 is the job aids. So those short between 1 to 4 pages on how to, and those job aids, we have it in our worker documentation in our SSIS resource page. And then the third resource is the e-learnings. So those are our top 3 that that you provided that you guys recommend to others. Next slide. So the next question we've asked about, what are your top 3 training resources that we as learning and development currently do well that you would like us to produce more? So our top 3 is, first one is the job aids, those how-tos documents. Number 2 spot is our e-learning resources, or those modules. And then we have our manuals, those function-based navigational guidance that we have posted online. Next slide. The third question is we ask about regarding SSIS functionalities. What functions and topic areas that we at the Learning and Development currently provide training resources that meets your need? So our top 3 and number 1 spot, we have our fiscal related training resources. Number 2 is ICWA, and 3 is our admin resources. Next slide. For question number 4, we've asked about which SSIS resource that we can improve on to meet your needs. So number 1 is our manual, so that we can improve upon as our manuals. And then on second place are job aids, and then the third spot is the blended approach. So that's a combination of could be a online training resource and a video, or an e-learning and job aids, or our virtual classes or in-person classes, and maybe clinic hands-on. Next slide. And for question number 5, we've asked about what are the top 3 resources that you find least effective? So number 1 spot is our facilitated SSIS hands-on clinics. Number 2 is our in-person instructor-led training. And then 3 are presentations. And then for number 6, the question is about what SSIS functions or topic areas that you need more training resources and support to meet your needs. Our top 3, the first, number 1 is our Title 4E, our 4E training resources. Number 2 is reports. And then on the third spot is our CWTCM. All right, so those are just, again, like just raw data. We're doing some more analysis. And Renata is going to talk more about our follow-up and what our plans for the future. All right, Renata.
Thanks, Anna. So the question 7 basically asks for anything else you want us to know or that you'd like us to know. And we received a variety of responses to this question. There were many comments that you provided that were outside of the scope of our responsibility or authority to provide. And those were things like requiring all of the workers across the state to take the SSIS training prior to giving them access to the system. Lots and lots of responses related to 4E training, and And we do have 4E trainers that are available to provide that content that are not a part of our L&D team, but they certainly partner with us. And what we intend to do with the feedback that we receive that's outside of the scope of our work is to provide that information to the appropriate areas throughout our division so that we can make sure you're able to get those needs met as well. Then, of course, we had comments that were within the scope of our job, such as improving our webpage to make it easier for folks to find what they need, like who wants to hunt around so much. There were great recommendations for other training areas or training support through the job aids or recommendations that we can add to our SSIS updates. So we'll certainly incorporate that information as we move forward. What we are going to do is to spend some time and analyze your feedback along with other data that we currently have from other areas within our Department of Children and Families and Youth. I know I'm butchering that acronym, but DCYF, so that we can certainly pull things together and strategically plan to deliver products, SSIS training products that better serve your needs. So that's the goal. We look forward to when we're able to share what that is and what that will look like for you. But for right now, we just want to say thanks for participating in this informal survey. And as I mentioned at the top of this section, we had such an amazing response and participation rate, and we are so grateful to all of you for sharing your feedback. And we want you to know that we heard you. And with that, I will pass it on to Heidi.
Yes, thank you, Renetta. It's me again. I just wanted to share with you a few more things here before we close out for the day. Just wanted to remind everybody of our SSIS resource page that's available as a resource to each and every one of you. On the SSIS resource page, you will find both worker and fiscal documentation. You'll find release notes, updates to what's happening with the system, all kinds of very valuable information. So don't forget that's there and check it out regularly. Next slide, please. Okay, then we have our Engagement HQ page. The SSIS section has been working very hard on creating meaningful spaces for folks to get up-to-date information. And for resources pertaining to our system. We currently have 3 Engagement HQ pages, one that's a private page and 2 that are public facing. These sites are meant to engage with our SSIS partners, mentors, coordinators, and affiliated supervisors through a variety of forums and idea boards. These web pages will also give you access to key dates, learning opportunities, what's trending, and access to resources. So many program areas will distribute updates, newsletters, or opportunities for learning how to use the Gov delivery system. This first link on the page up at the top right will allow you to manage your subscriptions for Gov delivery newsletters affiliated with DCYF. And we have the SSIS update. It's listed on the bottom of this page as a link, or there is a link at the bottom to get to the subscription page. This is a very valuable resource as well. We publish this every 2 weeks. It's chocked full of useful information, and we implore SSIS mentors, coordinators to review this biweekly publication and disseminate information to the applicable program areas in your agency. And we also have the Coffee Talk archives. The Minnesota Child Welfare Training Academy hosts our Coffee Talk archive for mentors to peruse as time permits. New to the SSIS Mentor Coffee Talk archive are the agenda with timestamped documents. These documents contain quick links to topics within each presentation. And not all Coffee Talks have this resource available yet, but we are working to ensure that they will have those available soon. Then save the date. We have December's Coffee Talk, a year in review 2025. That will be held Tuesday, December 16th. We will be holding that at 9 a.m. and we can put the registration link in the chat. This is going to be hosted by our very lovely help desk team, Shauna, Cassie, Luann, and Annie. And it's going to be a really interesting coffee talk. So we hope that you can all register and join us on the 16th of December. And with that, I don't think we have anything else. Are there any other questions or anything that we have in the chat that we need to answer before we close?
This is Renetta again. I'm not seeing any other questions in the chat. I think we can give it maybe another minute or so and see if folks have anything they want to share.
That sounds good.
Oh, we did have one question pop in real quick. It's saying, sorry if I missed it, but why is motivational interviewing not claimable now? We have somebody from fiscal that could maybe chime in.
Yeah, Cassie, this is Carrie.
Thanks.
It was under the claiming category, which it's not a claiming category. For motivational interviewing, you would submit to your prevention services state report to claim for motivational interviewing. It was just added into the claiming category a while ago by mistake.
She said, thanks for letting her know. No other questions in the chat right now.
Awesome. All right. Well, with that, we will close our presentation for the day. Thanks again for joining us. Come back in December. We hope to see you then. And I wish all of you a happy Tuesday.